So, at midnight, you have to play a game.
Why
It's just something we do when someone new joins the family.
a game? What game?
Welcome back. Will Meyer, the movie guy, is here to talk with us now about his box office recommendations. Good to see you this morning.
Good to see you too.
So there's a lot of good ones out right now.
A lot, yeah. It's tough to keep up with them right
Yeah.
now.
What are some of your favorites?
Well, one is the Peanut Butter Falcon. This movie
I've
came out
heard
this
about this
weekend.
one.
It's got a great title, and this is just such a heartwarming story about friendship and adventure. It's about this young man who has Down syndrome, and he runs away from this nursing home, and he decides to follow his dream of becoming a wrestler. And along the way, he crosses paths with this small-time outlaw who becomes his friend and his coach. And this is a movie that's reminiscent of other indie movies you've seen lately, like The Hunt for the Wilder People or Mud with Matthew McConaughey. But even though this movie is completely predictable and familiar, it's still just so enjoyable. And that's just because this movie is all heart. It's got two big young actors in it, Shia LaBeouf and Dakota Johnson, both of whom are particularly good. But the real star of this film is Zach Gottsagen, who actually has Down syndrome. But he is a natural-born movie star. This guy is fantastic.
Is he a new actor on the scene?
Well, that's the thing. You would think he'd been acting his whole life, but he hasn't. He's so good in this movie, though. He has such charisma. He has such presence. Your eyes are glued to him when he's on the screen. And he and Shia have such great chemistry, and which is essential in a movie about friendship. But Shia's even said that while filming this movie, his life was kind of falling apart, and it's his friendship with Zach that kind of helped partially turn his life around.
That is so cool. So there's like a story behind the story.
So yeah, this is just such a positive movie, and it also, I think, just when it goes big, sometimes it gets a little bit hokey, but even though you may roll your eyes occasionally, you're still going to be cheering. So definitely check this one out. If you saw this movie and you didn't like it, I would be shocked. So go see the Peanut Butter Falcon.
Well, I've seen the previews and I love them, and so I'm glad to hear that they're just as good as the previews. All right, ready or not?
Yeah, to change gears completely. This is a horror film, part thriller, part comedy as well. It's a movie about a bride whose wedding night takes a sinister turn when she's forced to take part in a deadly game of hide and seek. This movie stars Samara Weaving in what I think is a breakout role. And like I said, this movie's hitting a lot of different notes. It's part horror film, part thriller, also part comedy, and I think that's one of the things that sets this movie apart, because there's this undercurrent of humor throughout every scene here, and that really just helps make this movie feel fresh and exciting. It's just so bizarre, the things that keep happening. The violence is very over the top that you just can't help but laugh throughout. It's also kind of a satire of the entire institution of marriage. So I think that it hits some familiar horror movie beats, but like I said, these quirky characters and the humor helps to carry you through. It's not capital S scary, but it is a lot of fun. I enjoyed it throughout, and then I love the ending. There's a really gutsy surprise ending here that threatens to just unravel the whole thing, but it really works, and I like that they went for it. Samara Weaving, this young woman here, is fantastic. She has to hit a lot of different notes. She has to be timid at first, totally in command and in control by the end, and also have great timing, comedic timing, and so I think this is going to be, she's going to have a bright future ahead of her.
Which could be really hard to do, right?
Very tough, and so I thought she was great here, and I liked the movie quite a bit.
Okay, you might have to check that one out. What's the next one here, The Farewell?
The Farewell, yeah. This is a drama about a Chinese-American family who finds out that their grandmother is about to pass away, and they decide that they're not going to tell her that she's going to pass away. She has terminal cancer. They're not going to tell her, and it causes a lot of turmoil for the youngest member of the family, who's played by Awkwafina. They go to China, and it's just really tough for her to keep it together. She's known for her comedic performances in Ocean's 8 and Crazy Rich Asians, but this is her first dramatic role, and she's fantastic here, giving a very rich, subtle performance, and I think that's a great way to describe this movie as a whole. Because it's just very understated. It's a movie about death that is moving, that's honest, but it's not sentimental, and that's kind of tough to do, because I think a lot of other people with this material would have made a kind of a weepy sort of movie. But like I said, it's still effectively moving. One of the things I love about this movie, you're on one side of the fence at the beginning as to whether or not you agree that they're not going to tell the grandmother about her death. By the end, you can really completely sympathize with the other point of view. So that's, I think, the sign of really...
So it's easy to kind of flip your
Yeah,
opinion.
absolutely.
Well, and Awkwafina, this is such a different role for her.
Completely.
It's really cool to see her play something
and
like
she's
this.
so good here. I mean, you'd think she'd been doing dramatic roles all her life. So the only second I did not enjoy this movie was the final shot, but everything else is great. I think this still has a 100% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes, so
which is good.
Definitely worth seeing.
All right, we only have about 20 seconds left, but I want to get to this next one.
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. This is adapted from a collection of short scary stories for kids. This is a movie that is scary for kids, and it's effectively scary for adults too. PG-13 horror, that's not always easy to do. It's a lot of fun. It kind of reminds you of Stranger Things with the kids here. They have a great friendship, great sense of camaraderie. There's also a playful nature to it all. The story itself, it's hard to make a movie out of a bunch of short stories that are only a page long, but they give it their best shot here, and this is just a surprise surprisingly enjoyable and effectively scary PG-13 horror movie. So if you got preteens, take them to see this and you'll enjoy it too.
And they'll like it too,
Yeah.
it sounds like. All right, Will, thanks so much. And where
Thanks for
can
having
people
me.
go for more?
You can go out to my Facebook page, my Twitter page. It's Will Talk Movies.
All right, go there and check it out. Good to see you. Thanks
Good
for
to see
being
you, too.
here.